Groundbreaking. World-beating. Great value for money. The best phone of 2025. All statements that I will never associate with the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL. But it has a place. And for whatever reason that I'll hopefully explain in this video, I really like this phone and I think it has a place. What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video, and it's the full review of the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL. Yes, it has a place, for me anyway. Does it have a place for you? Let's go. Now, I think it's super important we discuss the major elephant in the room here. The Google Pixel 10 Pro XL is basically the same as the 9 Pro XL. So if you have the 9 Pro XL and you're wondering if you should upgrade, the answer is no. Switch off this video, leave a like on the way out, but this is not the video you want to watch. Do not upgrade. However, if you are an iPhone user, if you have an older Pixel or older Android device, the 10 Pro XL might actually be the perfect device for you. Let's talk about what's new on the 10 Pro XL compared to the 9 Pro XL first, and then talk about the reality of what those new features actually give you. So in terms of design, nothing has changed. In terms of cameras, really not much has changed in terms of hardware. But the battery is bigger and the screen is brighter. There you go, that's your hardware upgrades in a nutshell. Sorry, not all of them. I should mention they now have the Tensor G5 chip inside the 10 Pro XL. But let's talk about the reality of using the device for 2 weeks and what that actually means. Let's start with the chipset. The Tensor G5 is roughly 40% slower in performance and 40% less efficient than the flagship Qualcomm chip, the Snapdragon Elite. Those are just the cold hard facts, and folks, I can corroborate through my experience. Here's an example of playing Asphalt 9, the gold standard YouTube reviewer game that you've seen over and over again in many reviews used for B-roll. The Pixel handles this perfectly. No dropped frames, no lag, no overheating, and we'll talk about that soon. But here's another absolute staple for YouTube reviewers: Raid League of Legends. Here you can see it just crashed. It stalled. And this wasn't the only time. I refreshed the game about 4 times. And at the same point, about 3 minutes into gaming, it just stalled, crashed. No buttons would work, nothing would work. And the phone started to get a little bit hot. So if you are a gamer, the Pixel is still not the one for you, unfortunately. Now, in terms of efficiency, with the new chipset and with the slightly bigger, it's about 200 milliamp hours bigger than last year's, what can you expect? Well, in my testing, I got on average around 9 hours of screen on time, which is very respectable. Until you compare it with its competitors. The S25 Ultra crushed it by about 2 hours. The iPhone 16 Pro Max crushed it by just over 2 hours. The Vivo X200 Ultra, the Oppo X8 Ultra, many other flagships crushed it by hours. And that leads me to my first issue with Pixel. I have purposely avoided comparing the Pixel 10 Pro XL to phones like this. This, folks, is a Huawei Pura 80 Ultra. This destroys the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL in every single area, apart from maybe AI, which we'll discuss soon too. What I've deliberately done is when I'm talking about comparisons, I'm emphasising the iPhone and the Samsung. And that's deliberate because Google themselves are looking to be the iPhone of the Android world. You just have to look at their keynote launch event. You just have to look at what they compare the phone to and their features. They're trying to take a small percentage of iPhone users and have them switch to the Pixel. But Google, you better be careful because sometimes what you wish for, you will get, and it could ruin you. Because what iPhone users have become so au fait with and used to is reliability, performance, ease of use, ecosystem integration like no other. Your Google Pixel cannot offer most of those things. And what I mean by that, because hear me out, I know a lot of you will be typing. My personal use case for the iPhone 16 Pro Max is mainly for videos such as this, grabbing B-roll, airdropping that B-roll to my MacBook Pro, listening to that video through my AirPods Pro. Can anyone watching this video honestly tell me that your ecosystem is the Google Pixel, the Pixel Buds, and a Chromebook? No, it's not going to be that. You cannot reliably use the full Google ecosystem, in my opinion. And then when we talk about the other products like the Pixel Watch compared to the Apple Watch, the Apple Watch wins. The AirPods Pro 2 that I use just now, until my AirPods Pro 3 come, they are better than the Pixel Buds. And of course, my MacBook Pro, better than any laptop Google have and will ever produce, no doubt. So if Pixel get the people that use iPhones switching, they're going to realise pretty quick that it was the wrong choice and it could taint their decision to switch for life, meaning they'll just go back to the iPhone and never try Pixel again. I don't think it's ready to take on even a tiny percentage of Apple users. And I'm not talking about Android in general here. There are many phones, including the Samsung S25 series, that an iPhone user could switch to and have a great time because that ecosystem is far more built out. Now, I digress. Bringing it back to the Pixel 10 Pro XL, I talked about the heating issues, something that has plagued Pixel devices for years has been overheating. Hot while charging, gaming, using 4K video, dimming the screen, crashing the phone. The 10 Pro XL, even in Abu Dhabi, as you can see from these shots, never once got hot. And with the slightly faster charging and the Qi 2 MagSafe or magnetic charger on deck at faster speeds, never got hot. So one thing that Pixel has definitely improved is their internals via heat dissipation, vapor chamber, whatever magic they're using, and Jerry Rig has probably done a video on this, it is absolutely helping. Of course, combined with the new chipset. And you know how I said that the Pixel 10 Pro XL doesn't look at all different to the 9 Pro XL? That's fine by me. I personally love the design of the Pixel. From a form and functionality perspective, you will never wobble your Pixel when it's laying flat on a desk because of that full back visor. You will never get bored of holding the Pixel in your hands because it feels so goddamn premium. It's so durable, an IP69 water and dust resistance. The phone is a flagship tank, to be honest. So in terms of hardware, design and durability, it absolutely deserves to be mentioned with phones like the 16 Pro Max, the S25 Ultra and all those from the Chinese market. But for me, before we talk about AI, the Pixel just doesn't do anything for me. And I guess that's where the iPhone comparison continues. Because until the 17 Pro Max is in my hands, which it looks like it's going to do something for me, I just don't have an iPhone that I've ever been really excited about. It's just Mr. Reliable. And I guess if that's what Pixel's going for, then yeah, you are the Mr. Reliable of the Android world. Your stock Android skin is completely reliable. Everything has its place. There's no bells or whistles. But as I've mentioned in a previous video, it would be kind of cool to be able to select your skin. So if you bought a Vivo, you could select from Origin OS, FunTouch OS, and stock Android. If you had an Oppo, it could be Color, Oxygen, stock Android. Literally from the launcher menu, in your default settings, select from one of those. With the Pixel, there's nothing there you can choose from. It's stock Google, which has its place, but doesn't exactly fill you with excitement. And I'm only giving my opinion. At the end of the day, I am spoilt for choice. I have about 9 phones on me right now. I can pick and choose from the best of the best. So maybe for you or older family members or kids you may have, maybe the Pixel's the best choice because it is reliable, it is durable, and it has 7 years of major Android updates. 7 years, folks. That's going to take me till I'm 48 years old. Yes, I'm 41. Just deal with that. I'm old. And if you cast your minds back to the very start of the video, during my introduction, I said value for money is not something I would say about the Pixel 10 Pro XL. And in terms of hardware upgrade, I don't think £1,100 or 1,100 USD is value for money. What I can say is 7 years of OS updates for £1,100. Yeah, that part of it I'm on board with. Now, I've mentioned the cameras, the 48 megapixel sensors and the telephoto lens and the ultra wide. They're solid. They're slightly bigger sensors than ever before. There's obviously a ton of post-processing and AI and software jiggery-pokery going on, but here's an absolute ream of examples from the Pixel 10 Pro XL, which does, until you get past 20 or 30x zoom, it does absolutely keep up with the best out there. It still delivers that pixel quality image, which in blind camera tests always seems to come out on top. So take a look at all these photos and videos. You can let me know in the comments what you think of the camera setup, and I'll be back after to summarise my Pixel 10 Pro XL experience. So, the Pixel is getting better year on year for a lot of things. But I guess kind of a detriment to Google is they're so AI and software reliant. And the reason that's a detriment is because if you've got the 9 Pro XL, the 8 Pro, the 7 Pro, every single AI feature on this device is on your device. And if it's not yet, it will be very, very soon. So why would anybody want to upgrade for the Gemini AI stuff, which, by the way, the first year of Gemini Live Pro, whatever they're calling it, is free and included. What is this in the picture?
Based on the distinctive design and the text visible on the clip, this is a jerry-rig knife, a utility knife created and sold by the popular YouTuber and phone durability tester Jerry-Rig Everything.
But why would you want to upgrade just for that? If your main focus is all on software, which we already know on last year's phone has still got 6 years left, why would we upgrade? So one more thing I want to touch on regarding the Pixel is biometrics. There is no getting away from the fact that the biometrics on the 10 Pro XL are the best Google have ever introduced, and I guess that goes for the whole 10 lineup. The fingerprint sensor is as quick as anything else out there. It's maybe a heartbeat behind your Vivos and Xiaomi's, but in terms of the Samsung, the ultrasonic on this is just as good as the ultrasonic on that. And the Face ID, instant as well. That is one area Google has always struggled with, biometrics. But for me personally, having used the Honor Magic V5 and the Huawei Pura 80 Ultra as my most recent daily driving fold and candy bar phones, they both have side-mounted fingerprint scanners, which, in my humble opinion, are far easier, better and more useful than in-screen fingerprint sensors found on the Pixel Pro XL. But, as I say, most manufacturers use in-screen fingerprint sensors, so I'm not going to knock Pixel down for that. I'm going to praise them for improving their biometrics. The Pixel 10 Pro XL is a great phone for those that maybe have a 2-year or 3-year-old Android device and they're looking to upgrade. The Pixel 10 Pro XL is not for those that are looking for the best camera system on a smartphone, the biggest battery on a smartphone, the most power on a smartphone. I believe Google have to make a drastic change in their strategy when it comes to their chipset. Because the hardware, you could argue, is absolutely fine. Really good, actually. And of course, the AI and software is good too. Could do with a little pizzazz, but it's really good. Where they're let down is in efficiency and performance. I think Google need to get back to Qualcomm. Give Qualcomm a little knock at the door and say, hey guys, can we have your Snapdragon chip please? Because the Tensor just isn't working. Now, as mentioned, I will have the iPhone 17 full lineup in studio in the next week or so. I'm looking forward to that, which I haven't been looking forward to, as mentioned, for an iPhone for a while now, so that'll be fun. And I have another fairly special phone coming in about 5 days' time. The Huawei Mate X-T S. If that sounds good to you, smash subscribe, hit the little bell so that you're notified when I drop my latest videos, and if you've enjoyed this full review of the Pixel 10 Pro XL, leave a like and let me know what you liked and didn't like in the comments. And of course, people, don't forget, I own Europe and the UK's largest import store. The Average Dad Tech Store has all the latest phones, the best prices, and if you pay by bank transfer, 5% discount off any device, including that Mate X-T S. Until next time,